Hi there, Waypoint family. Welcome to this week's Marks of Maturity. I hope that these short videos are an encouragement to you, and it's great to be seen by you. Of course, I can't actually see you, and it's a little different. But I'm looking forward to these times here midweek when we can have this interaction. And my prayer is that it just kind of is a little nudge along the way that brings us closer to Christ. This week, I wanted to talk about victory over fear and over worry. I believe that as followers of God, we know that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We see that there in the Proverbs and at the end of Ecclesiastes. The conclusion is that we're called to fear God and keep His commandments. This is the whole duty of man. That's part of the conclusion there. And so there is that aspect of a healthy view towards God, to recognize that He is ultimately our judge, and in that light we look at Him with that kind of reverence. And yet, because of Christ, it's not something that we actually need to be like shivering in fear over. And in fact, when it comes to enemies, when it comes to circumstances, when it comes to health and finances and the unknown and the uncertainty of life, we're called very, very clearly to not be afraid. Joshua 1:9 says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." What a powerful encouragement. What a powerful command that the Lord spoke into Joshua's life. And that's true for us as well. As you face this life, as you walk through new challenges, just know that the Lord is with you. And because of that, you do not need to be afraid. In fact, you shouldn't be afraid. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." We've talked about this before and in different ways, but it's so true that when the Spirit of God is in us, when we receive that the result isn't somebody who's afraid or nervous or anxious, but rather stepping into boldness, stepping into courage, stepping into this idea of faith that God's really big enough and will carry us through whatever we need to go through. I realize even as I'm saying this that some of us may struggle with anxiety for a variety of different reasons, and just there can be challenges in our lives. And if that's you and you're watching this and you're like, well, how do I actually live this out? I just really want to invite you to bring it before the Lord and to just receive all that He has for you. Receive all of God's good love and let that change you. 1 John 4:18 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love." So receive the love of God, rather than turning towards anxious thoughts, rather than letting fear cripple or bind you up. Receive the love of God and know that it's real and that it's life-giving, and that I believe it's freeing for us. That we can live in a kind of this understanding of grace and the reception of what God wants to pour into us, which is His love, courage, just a sense of peace that God has fought and won the battle. And so I hope that that's an encouragement to you. Just one last quick thought here. In the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus is talking about worry and anxiety, and he has this line there, verse 27 of chapter 6. "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" Yeah, that's spot on. And so don't reduce the quality of your life by living in fear. Follow Jesus. Receive His love and live in boldness and confidence and peace because of who He is and what He's done.